Tattoo 2012 running in. In the lead is the BAC VC-10, an aircraft celebrating this year the 50th anniversary of its maiden flight. The number 101 squadron crew today comprises Flight Lieutenant Keith Brown in the captain's seat, co-pilot squadron leader Tim Kemp, navigator Flight Lieutenant Dave Coombe, and flight engineer Sergeant Nick Crook. The VC-10, as Spiv mentioned, due for retirement from service in the tanker transport role in 2013, but it remains very much on the front line, currently serving on deployment in Afghanistan and supporting the Typhoons stationed in the Falklands. Then comes the Lockheed Hercules, flown by a crew from number 30 Squadron, the aircraft captain Flight Lieutenant Mark Brodie, co-pilot Flight Lieutenant Al Barmer, and Air Load Master Sergeant Aidan Street. The Hercules force a mixture of the reigning C-130K models, the Marks 1 and 3, and the newer C-130Js in the form of the Marks 4 and 5, has been involved in continual overseas taskings for the last 20 years, today heavily engaged in Afghanistan. Third up, the Lockheed Tristar from number 216 Squadron, another tanker transport type slated for replacement in the coming years. Captained today by Squadron Leader Steve Pollard, joined by co-pilot Flight Lieutenant Jace Corbin, Flight Sergeant Neil Charlton as Flight Engineer, and Flight Sergeant Carl Temple Fielder as Air Load Master. A new workhorse of the RAF's air mobility fleet now, the Boeing C-17A Globemastr 3 of number 99 Squadron. From an initial fleet of 4 leased aircraft, the first of which was delivered in 2001, the C-17 force has expanded to 8, now RAF owned outright, the 8th having just been delivered this May. Combining tactical and strategic transport attributes, it proved an outstanding asset. The crew today, headed by aircraft captain Flight Lieutenant Chris Knight, with co-pilot Flight Lieutenant Annabelle Bacon and Air Load Master Paul Bomber Harris. And bringing up the rear, the future of the RAF's tanker transport fleet, the Airbus Voyager KC-1, based upon the Airbus A330-200 multi-role tanker transport. Here we see the sole example currently flying from Brize, Norton, operated by number 10 Squadron, from which comes the aircraft captain, Flight Lieutenant Reg Arminu, joined today by co-pilot Flight Lieutenant James Davies and mission systems operator Flight Lieutenant Steve Sansford. 14 of these aircraft are being provided to the RAF under a contract with the Air Tanker Consortium. As the Atlas, that's the name it'll carry when it enters RAF service. There are 5 test examples of the A400M now flying. The 5th made its maiden flight in December last year, and they're performing around 4,300 hours of development and qualification testing prior to service entry. All 5 of them, you may have seen in some of the aviation media, flew together for the first time in June. The 7th airframe, which will be the first for the aircraft's first operator, the French Air Force, is currently in assembly and is scheduled for its maiden flight in August prior to delivery in December.
Serena's won. Hang on, it says actually Serena's just won first set. Sorry, I misread that. First set 6-1, rain break at the Mo. How's Rio? I already replied, I didn't really need to.
What did you say? Wet?
Good, smiley face.
Wet? I saw.
I'm wearing waterproof, so I'm not wet.
The A400M test program has progressed rapidly of late. Some recent milestones: clearance of loading trials with Eurocopter EC-725 and NH-90 helicopters. It's done unpaved strip landing trials at Cottbus in Germany, which were cut short by soft ground, high altitude testing in Bolivia, and refueling trials with an A330 MRTT.
Airbus just completing his landing checks, gear down, flaps down for a full stop landing on runway 09. In from the left, the Airbus A400 Atlas.
It's given that name here at Fairford in a naming ceremony on Friday afternoon of last week.
And of course it's Almost a year since the Voyager was so named in a similar ceremony on the Friday before React 2011. A very welcome appearance. I believe this aircraft is the 5th of these 5 prototypes. Ed Strongman and Anthony Flynn bringing it into land. On the 4 Europrop International